Well, hello there, beautiful. It's Kylie Patchett here. Welcome to the Wild and Finally Pecking Free podcast. I deeply believe that the years during and beyond perimenopause are a rite of passage. All of a sudden, we find ourselves on the precipice of a life transition where our brain literally rewires and runs out of fucks to give. We find ourselves shifting identity, no longer caring what other people think, and being invited to expand into new ways of being. Here, we share the real and raw stories from women who've been through deep midlife metamorphosis, taken a leap of faith, or broken the ties that bind us in patterns of staying small, stuck, and like our needs just don't matter. This is the midlife medicine you didn't even know you needed. Stories full of joy, despair, freedom, courage, and deep self-honoring. I am so glad you found us. Welcome. I am very, very, very excited to be recording with the beautiful Trudy Simmons. So Trudy is from the Daisy Chain group. Trudy and I have known each other, I feel like it's for decades. It's probably only a decade, but it's still a long, long, long time. So welcome, Trudy. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. And I'm excited to do this. What a great concept for a podcast.
I know, it's so cool. It's so cool. We were just talking off air about where I'm wanting to go with this interview with you is to share your big metamorphosis, change, etc. So we'll get to that in a second. But also how you actually help other women to actually in their business lives to create that big shift and change. So we'll start with the personal and we'll shift over to the business. Yep. Before we get started with all of the deep diving stuff, would you like to introduce yourself, please, to our lovely listeners?
Sure. I'm Trudy Simmons. My business, as Kylie says, the Daisy Chain Group. I run the Shine On You Crazy Daisy membership, which is all about networking and collaborating and facilitating people to feel like they have the platforms that they want and need to be seen and heard in their businesses.
I love it. Seen and heard in their businesses. That's the diving off point. I'm like, seen and heard in life in general, because one of the things that when I'm working with clients, when they're talking about, the who they want to step up into being, there is often these barriers and blocks around my needs don't matter, or I'm not seen, or I'm not, I'm only seen in a particular filter. Like I've always played this role in my family. I've always done that in my business, etc. So yes, so many questions in my head. Let's go with when you first saw, so I put out this invite on social media, you pinged me and said, I want to share. What came to your mind in terms of the midlife shift or the big leap of faith that you've done? What was the one that came to mind? Because I know you are a very brave, courageous soul. So you've done this many, many times. So what came to your mind?
Honestly, it was three things. It was those two things and interviewing with you, which I just love doing because we always get these really amazing conversations.
Yes.
But I think that when you take a risk, when you leap, it is very much about the mindset that you do that with.
Yes.
And if you leap with absolute fear of this isn't going to work, how can this work? And what can I put in the way of it working, which we do, self-sabotage.
All the time.
I am of the opposite. I leap and just keep falling until I reach the net. I know that I'm not going to fall very far.
Yes.
And as much as, everybody talks about failing forward and failing fast, that's what I do. That's what I've always done. I will take the risk. And sometimes it doesn't feel like a risk to me, but people go, you're crazy, which is why I'm a crazy Daisy. Why did you do that? You're crazy. And I was like, yes, I am. Thank you.
Yes.
And it gets exciting. That's how excitement, there's that line between fear and excitement. And I am very much of the thinking that without fear, that excitement level can't be as big when you succeed.
Yes.
So I enjoy the fear in everything. I enjoy the excitement in everything. And I look forward to whatever the outcome is for whatever risk that I take. And that's what my joy is in taking the leap of faith in whatever direction that is, personally or professionally. Ooh, professionally, listen to me.
Ooh, professionally, very fancy. Can I ask, before you go on with where you wanted to go with in terms of specific metamorphosis, something that's really shining out of your words to me is you have grown this sense of self-trust. So you take the leap and you know that there's always going to be something underneath you to catch you. And to me, if I was to put that in my language, I'd say I can trust myself. Like, I trust myself that I'm going to take this leap, and no matter what happens, there is going to be something that is underneath me. So I'll either fly or I'll fall, but just only a little bit, and then something else will happen. So has it always been like that for you?
No way. And it's very strange when you put it in that language of I trust myself, because my part of my trusting myself, it's absolute bravado.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed of that, because if I sat here and said, I believe this might happen, but these are the things that I can see are obstacles along the way, I'd be out before I've even begun. So I walk into everything with, no, I know this is going to work. And the people around me sometimes start putting those obstacles in my way of my thinking. And I'll still stand strong on, no, I believe in this. I know that I can do it. I know this is the right thing to do. And then if it fails, it fails.
Yeah,
I don't feel bad about that.
No.
I don't take that on. But it is an absolute trust in myself. But I don't mind that part of that is bravado.
I don't know whether, like, I think bravado's got a bad rap, right? So if bravado means it gives you enough oomph behind you to make the decision, like, to decide, because really all change starts with that one decision. It's like, I'm not available for what is this, and I am available for this. And you step towards that. You throw the future out in front of you, you run to live into it. If it's bravado, I don't really care what you label it. It's a sense of, even if I do feel fear, I'm going to do it anyway, because I know that it's stepping me towards the right direction. So I don't know whether that's like a bad thing. I think that's a good thing.
No, I absolutely agree. And that's why I wanted to bring it up, because as you said, it's got this bad rap. And when people, I'll talk to people sometimes and say, God, I was brilliant today. My coaching skills are off the scale. And in doing that, some people look at me like, you cocky so-and-so, how can you big yourself up like that? What gives you the right to think that you're that brilliant? Whereas if I didn't do it, who the hell else is going to? So
sorry, I've got so much.
I know. So then it does feel like this feeling of bravado that comes out, and that cocky confidence. People think I'm really confident. I'm not really confident. I back myself. I back myself in what I say. I back myself in how I do things, rightly or wrongly. I back myself. In doing that, it's a form of protection, because then when these words come at me from people, you're crazy, you can't do that. That's not possible. I was told I couldn't do 6 books in a year. I did it. Come on.
Yes, you did.
I love it.
You did.
So people saying to me, you can't do that. That's not possible. That's a red rag to a bull.
Oh, amen. Yeah, me too. Don't tell me I can't, because I bloody well will prove you wrong.
Yeah. And I love
that.
I love the challenge.
Oh, so good. There's so many places I want to go. The thing that's actually calling to my attention, actually 2 different things. So with the leap of faith, this is as you just said, people think about the things that can go wrong, and you're actually going, but I'm actually focusing on all the things that can go right, which is actually training your brain to notice what is working. Because I see this all the time. Like, people say, I want to make this big change. And when they're fired up and excited about the idea, if it's just come to them and whatever, it's like, yes, okay, I can do this. And then the fear brain starts. And it's like, but people will laugh at you. You won't be able to do that. You'll fall down. You won't have enough money, blah, 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 whatever the story is. And that's what our brain is there for. Our brains are there to keep us safe. That is the whole point. But when you're coming and saying about the cockiness, to me, like, again, cockiness, not cockiness, because I know that you're a bloody good coach. And that is the magnetism that, that's your surety in your body that you're doing what you're meant to be doing in the world. So it's the flip side of cockiness, because to me, cockiness is like without substance. Whereas I think what I'm feeling when you're saying that is like, I know that I'm really good at this, and it's that surety and the magnetism. And then on the flip side of that, like when you think about like the fear brain, Like for you to actually say out loud, I am bloody good at this, you're self-affirming. Like the world is going to tell you that you can't do stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
Other people are looking at your decisions through their filters, and they might not be comfortable with risk, as a lot of people aren't. Let's be honest. But yeah, so the fear brain is showing you all the things that can go wrong, but what you're choosing to do is pay attention to all the things that can go right. And I imagine when you started doing that, in some ways you had to ignore reality. Hey gorgeous, we interrupt this gold for a delicious invitation. If your whole body has been whispering more lately, more voice, more truth, more satisfaction, more clients of the soulmate variety, more cash, more you, then this invitation is for you. Potent, my sister mind is officially open. This is my high touch, holy fuck, I'm ready sister mind for rebels in good girl clothing who are done outsourcing their power and diluting their magic to fit into someone else's business formula. If you have been craving a space where your strategy, your voice, and your energy all get to be offered, honored, refined, and amplified, this is it. Inside of Potent, you'll get my eyes on your business every single week, copy mentoring, and that is for brand copy and content storytelling that turns your truth into client catnip, energetic recalibration that helps you unhook old learned limitation patterns, keeping you quiet, not being seen, not being heard, real-time, high-touch, one-on-one coaching that actually sees the bigness of your vision, and the kind of sisterhood that does not flinch when you show up in your full, messy, brilliant, phoenix rising from the ashes glory. This isn't surface level support. It's deep, potent, paradigm shifting work that changes who you are as a woman in business and a woman in life. We start in August. Early open access is open right now. For the month of June 2025, inside of this early access open doors period, you will receive juicy bonuses, extended payment plans, and access immediately to my entire library of storytelling gold. You'll find all the juicy details at kyliepatchett.com/potent. And we fill spaces, and there's only 10 of them, and more than likely only 5 by the time you listen to this, because by that time I will have offered them to the existing cohort, the beautiful original OG circle. We do actually take applications on a first come, first served basis. So come and apply, and let's get back to the magic of the episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is a brilliant thing to say, because just recently somebody said to me, you're not being practical. I'm the most practical person out there. Yes, because I know the steps that need to be taken to get done whatever I want to get done. Yeah. But what they were actually saying, because I went through it and said, I don't know how you can say that about me, is you're not dealing in reality. You're not thinking about all the things that could go wrong. No, I'm not. Why would I? How is that going to get me any further forward by concentrating on all the things that can't get done? And what I see when this is, again, a brilliant conversation about being cocky and the words that people throw at you, crazy, and it's their issues that help them to see it in that way. Me being, God, I'm brilliant at this. They know, most of the people that know me know that that's part me saying, please believe me. I've had a good day. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Rather than, woohoo, I'm the best ever, give me a medal.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the intention behind the words. Interesting that person said you're not paying attention to reality, because what she actually was saying was you're not paying attention to my reality, my version of reality. Yeah. Not yours.
You're not putting the blockers in the way that I can see.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I can't see that it's possible. And it's like, well, yeah, probably because you've not done it before. which is fine. And I think that's really important when we're talking about these shifts and the stories. And I really believe that there's magical medicine in the storytelling behind the mindset and the heart space that people take the step from to create something different for themselves. Because, it's so easy to listen to people that say you can't. And what we're actually wanting to do, and the intention behind this whole podcast, is have these good questions or conversations where we're actually saying you can actually ignore current reality to create something different and new. And you are not limited by your past. You're not limited by circumstances. And I know that there's a lot of realities, and I'm doing my little air quotes with my fingers. I know you can't see me, but if in your reality it's hard to conceive that something completely new is possible, I think that's where the stretch comes from. And, listening to conversations like that, exactly the same. Okay, so enough of the theory. Let's talk about a big change that you have undertaken yourself and how that came about. So what's a big shift that came to mind?
Well, there's a lot. One of the biggest ones that I had, both personally and professionally, was when my sister died.
Yes.
Because she was disabled. She was a massive part of my life. She was a massive part of each of my weeks, even though I lived in Australia and she lived in the UK. I had a big part of her life up until I left about 4 years before she died. And when she died, it was like I couldn't wear all the masks I've been wearing all of that time for different people. In that stage of grief, I couldn't wear any. So that shift of perception of who I was, and not just who I was to me, who I was in my family, because I'd lost that position of I look after Jody, my sister.
Yes.
To me, that's what it felt like.
Yes.
I lost my position in the family. I lost my position in how I was able to speak to each different person. How do I have to be with them so that they feel comfortable? All of that was gone. I had nothing left to give. So that was a massive change in my life, in my metamorphosis.
Yes.
To my next Trudy 2.0.
Yeah, Trudy 2.0. Well, are we up to 22.0? I feel like
just about.
We all have about 30 different versions, I reckon.
So that was a really interesting change.
Can I ask, before you go on, sorry, I know I just interrupted you, but what I want to dive into the mask thing. So again, this is a pattern that I see a lot. It's like, I can't do that because, and often what comes after that is what I have to do in that situation. I'm the one that has to take care of that person. I have to make sure that person's feelings aren't hurt. I know I definitely have a lot of this historical childhood codependency kind of created stuff, which I'm still working through and still healing. You think, oh, my God, I'm almost 50. When does this finish? But can you talk to me more about how it felt like without, because you're not saying I decided to not wear the masks. You're saying I couldn't wear the masks. And was that because the grief was just so, because I know Jody was a massive part of your life. So was that just because it was all consuming and you didn't have any bandwidth to worry about the mask wearing?
I didn't know who I was in grief. I'd never known anybody die. And to have literally the closest person to me die. And I couldn't get back to her in time. It was just, I've never known anything like it. So that is interesting. It wasn't that there was no choice in it. And because I had made choices over the years of wearing the masks for different people, to not be able to make a choice was an incredible place. Now, what that did was showed me what vulnerability was, because never in my life had I been vulnerable. There is no way that was a safe space for me. No way that I understood that there was strength in vulnerability. And as Brené Brown says, courage in vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just thought it was an utter weakness and I was never going there. I had so much push and drive that would keep my personality in check for whoever I was with. And it was exhausting. And then when I had to relook at everything of where I sat and who I was and the vulnerability. And one of those places that it came through the most is that I'd set up my business, and I had to come back from the funeral back to Australia with this new business and stand in front of people and do a presentation. In doing that, in front of 35 women, I stood there and talked about Jody, talked about the fact that we need to all work out what we want rather than what we're told we should do and have to do, and talked about the steps that I had taken in the 3 or 4 months since her death. And I had tears reflected to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was providing an environment where people were safe enough to feel vulnerability in themselves and safe enough to let the tears out. And it made me cry, which was not a safe space for me before that. And we had a connection that I'd never experienced before, because the connections before were very much in corporate, because I was in a corporate job just before that.
Yeah.
Were very, very different. And it created a connection and an engagement that was it was heartfelt. And I'd never experienced that before.
So that's the thing about wearing the masks, right? We think the masks come from this, like there's often conditioning, particularly family of origin conditioning, and this is who I am, or maybe you've been given the label of the, the doer or the action taker or the people pleaser or whatever, like whatever the label is. And we think that wearing the mask is doing a favor for the person that you're wearing the mask for. That's the surface level. What we cannot understand until we have exactly the experience that you have had, where you actually, for whatever reason, either choose to take off the mask or are forced to take off the mask, because with the mask on, you're not in alignment to who you are. So you're never having a conversation with an open heart. You're never showing the true self of you. And therefore, you're not actually giving an invitation for that person to meet you with their true self, because we can all feel the energy of someone who is not being authentic. And I know that word is, I wish I could figure out a different word. They're not being them natural selves. Let's put it that way, because authentic, I think, gets overused. But if we can sense that, and we absolutely can, the bullshit radar or whatever you call it, what is going off, then we can't have that connection. And so we think that we're wearing the mask to be a particular way for people, but what we're doing is stealing the ability for us to actually have true connection in our life.
And it's exhausting doing it, and you don't realize that till you're on the other side. I was talking over the last few days about the counseling that I've been through, and whether it's helped or not, and what it's done to support me through really difficult times. What I definitely saw was me now. I was so angry back then. I was so angry so much of the time, and it's unrecognizable to who I am now. And when I tell people that I used to get really angry and I'd go and cause trouble, and they can't even imagine. I'm all la la. Like, I love being sunshiny around people. But I was really angry until I was about 38.
So,
and then,
sorry, go.
No, and then it just changed. And it changed slowly, and it changed because the masks were dropped, and it changed because I was vulnerable, and it changed because that vulnerability led me to have connections in a different way. And it led people, I lost people that didn't want to be that way connected. Good. I attracted people that wanted to have those conversations that were real at a deeper level. Fantastic.
So
it's
good.
Changing your perception of what your life can be, and it can happen at any stage if you choose it.
If you decide. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This has been a really big theme for me at the moment. So there's a couple of again, so many different tangents. This could be a choose your own adventure. We could just go in 20 different directions. With the anger, because I really relate to that. I was so as a kid, I told myself the story. It wasn't safe for me to be angry, and there was a lot that I should be angry about. So I stuffed it down. What that did in my situation was came out in terms of like inward anger, so being depressed, but also completely disproportionate anger around the people that I love the most. So, one little thing would happen and the anger would just come out of me like a rage almost. And similar to you, like I obviously have done a lot of work on myself, but also, the anger comes from being like abandoning yourself again and again and again and again. And you just become more and more angry with yourself, and the anger has to come out somewhere. So you cause trouble, you get passive aggressive, or you get burnt out and bitchy, which is, and I think that, again, it's like, you've got to trust your feelings. Your feelings are these signposts of where you're out of alignment, and all of that real gritty energy and yucky sort of stagnant, or explosive anger, or however it comes out. It's just a little indicator.
But it's also looking at all of that and listening to what we're saying. And if you've got an inkling of going, crikey, maybe I do feel a bit like that, and maybe there is a mask that I'm wearing that I may not realize I'm wearing, or maybe something does need to change, but I don't know how. That thinking of I don't know how is how people stay where they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you are in any way thinking that, reach out to somebody. Reach out to find a modality that works for you. CBT, RTT, hypnotherapy, whatever.
Yeah. All the letters.
Don't stay there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's sunshine on the other side.
Absolutely. There's sunshine, there's connection, there's love, there's freedom, there's joy, there's all the good juju that we all say that we want. But you have to, there is that, it's a decision, it's a commitment to investing in yourself, and also in terms of just the energy. And also, let's be honest with so many people are rushing through their lives feeling every single second so that they won't feel any of this. And that's what I was doing for a very long time. So sorry, we got off track. So you said Jody, that was the first one. So what, talk to me about another shift, because these are great examples of,
Well, Kylie, I moved out to Australia when I was 26 because I was basically running away from everything, and came back to the UK when I was 41 for a holiday, and saw my grandma and thought, she needs help, she needs looking after, she needs support, she needs me. And so I made this monumental decision to move back to the UK, which I never thought that I would do. Never, ever did I think I'd live back here. But the things that have happened since then, you're on the right path. Everything slots into place. So that was pretty massive. And again, me being the risk taker, I moved out to Australia and everybody said, you can't do that, you'll regret it. Well, I can't regret something I try. So
exactly.
And I said the same coming back here. You can't regret something you try. So I'm going to go back for 6 months, and I've now been back for 6 years, I think 7 years.
Yeah.
Crikey. Yeah, it might be. And in that time, I've found a wonderful relationship. I'm a new stepmom, and all of these things have come at the right time through COVID, which is crazy.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, and the feeling, like this relationship that I have now, I could not have had 6-7 years ago.
No.
I could not have had before Jody died. It is so real, and whatever happens in our relationship, we can have the real conversations that mean we're adults, we're not kids. Let's sort this out. Because I'm a confronter, so that's fun for him. I
love that little giggle.
Let's sit down and sort this out. I know. He's like, oh God, I'll just go to the lounge. But it is, for me, it is the best thing ever, because it's allowing us to have depth. And I don't think I would have done that before. I wouldn't have allowed myself to be as vulnerable as I am with him. And it's just different, and it's amazing. And I'm grateful for it all. I'm grateful for the timing of it all.
This is, yes. So the magic of, first of all, trusting the timing, always trusting the timing. Because, as often when I talk about the midlife stuff with people, they're like, oh, it's too late to make this change. It's too late, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but what if everything that you've been through is the foundation of the invitation to just go, what's next? And it doesn't have to be this big, bold, crazy changes if that's not what calls to you. But ignoring what's calling to you steals all the magic that can unfold, exactly what you're saying. So, obviously Jody dying, not a great thing to experience. As a result of that grief, the vulnerability and the invitation to connect, you get more and more comfortable with being open with people and being your true self and not wearing the mask. And then you invite this relationship that meets you where you are. And exactly like you say, like you couldn't have predicted that, back then when all that happened and then moving across and whatever. But that's the magic that we can steal from ourselves by thinking, oh no, it's too late, or it's too this, or I'm not able to make that decision. That limiting
or how.
stuff.
How is the biggest word you can ask in two ways. How do I get this done?
Yes.
It can't be done. Or how do I get this done? What's the first step?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My favorite quote ever is always is, if you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I do not approach anything with I can't. Nothing. No. If somebody said to me, go and walk the high rope somewhere, I'd give it a damn good go. I wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
But I can do anything that I want to do.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So it really comes down to making the choices of what you want and then thinking I can rather than I can't.
Absolutely.
How do I get this done? What's the first step?
Yes. And again, like I know you wouldn't necessarily use the same language, but that's self-trust because it's just everything is possible. I trust myself. Yeah. Everything is possible. Now, what am I deciding to do about it? And what's the next right step?
I love that when people are so shocked by some of the things that I do. There's the little things like, I'm going to go and put on a conference. Well, you don't know how to do that. So doesn't mean I can't do it.
I'll learn.
So I work it out. So then I decided that, I'm looking around for speakers. So I approached Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
And everybody said, you can't do that. Why would she come and speak at your conference? Why wouldn't she?
Well, why not?
She said no.
Yeah, but you gave it a crack.
Why wouldn't I give it a crack? I just love shocking people where they go, oh, what did she say? I bet she didn't even reply. Yeah, she said, hi, Trudy. You're the best. Can't do it this time. How about next?
That's so cool. I love it. And that again makes me feel into that, what do I even believe is possible for me? Because most people stop themselves before they'll even take the action towards what they really want. Yeah. And it's like, well, my desire is this big, but I'm going to downplay it to this big because that's what I feel like I deserve or is possible for me or reality, like we were saying before. And I'm like, no, stuff that. What's the big, deep dream? And then, exactly, break it down into little step. What am I going to do today about it? What am I going to do, next week?
And this isn't, obviously most of the women I'm around are business women.
Yes.
But this isn't just about business women. I see a lot of mums that say, I can't go and do yoga once a week.
Yeah.
I've got kids. Oh, crikey, love, find the time.
Oh.
How can you find and create the time for something that you want to do that's going to make you feel better? Because when women feel better, they are more confident. They are able to do more for the people around them. And that's what's needed.
Yeah.
We are the nurturers.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Oh, I know.
And also, this is something that I've learned. Like my girls are 17 and 18 now. One of the best things that I've ever, demonstrated is not the right word, but modeled for them is taking care of myself. And, that's always been a bit of a journey for me because I often know what I need to be doing and I don't actually step into it on a regular basis. But then I go through these, on and off again cycles. But I've taught them, what does your body fit? What does your body need? Yeah. What do you need? Stop pushing through. Like we've been taught that this pushing through is this we put a badge of honor on. And I'm like, I have made myself so stiff and unhappy and restricted by not fulfilling my needs so many times in my life. I think it's a big stretch for me, that one. But that's why I do the work that I do, because it's like, embody the work, help other women to do it. Very simple.
So last week I sat down and I thought, do you know what? I have not had an actual break this year. And so I spoke to my partner and said, when can we get 3 or 4 days away? And we went through the calendars until the end of the year. We couldn't work it out. And he said, just you go. And I didn't need his permission, but I wanted it.
Yes.
Because I thought that I wanted to go with him. So when he said it, I said, oh, no, I can't. Stop it. Bye. I'm leaving today.
Yeah.
So I literally thought, I'm going next week and I'm going for 4 days. I'm going to go and chase the sunshine. And just go and sit by a pool and read a book for 3 days. Not because I'm overly exhausted, but because I need a break. I just need a break from, everything that goes on in life.
Absolutely.
And so I've put that time into myself. I've never done that before in my life. And this feels massive. And I do feel those nigglings of guilt, even though I know it's ridiculous. But I'm going to ignore them anyway and go, I've got 2 books with me and I'm going to go and read them. And they're not even business books. They're just novels.
Oh, crazy. You are crazy, Trudy Simmons. I actually just gifted myself a week with a friend. Away from home. And because I live in the country now, she lives by the ocean. Spent lots and lots of time walking, lots of time meditating, lots of time reading novels, no business, no thinking. And what I really, really settled into is the more that I rest, the more creative. And the word that kept coming to me was just luscious, like this languid, like the feeling in my body of exercising and eating simply and no complication. And one of the things that it kept coming to me is, when we feel out of alignment, we feel stiff and restricted or whatever it is, or even just stretched thin. It's like, are we actually living in alignment with our values? And one of my first values, actually, my top 2 are simplicity and freedom. And I'm like, oh no, not aligned to either of those at the moment. So it's like, okay. It's the little tweak of back to, creating the life that you say that you want for yourself and making sure that your values are front and center, because it is very easy when, like you said, life trouble.
And be brave, write what that life is down. Because some people don't even get that far, and then they wonder, how do I even create the life that I want? I don't know what it is. Well, what have you tried? Have you put it on paper about what you actually want to happen? I say this all the time to clients. They say, I'd love to work 4 days a week. Well, have you done it? No, I'm going to start it in next year. No, start it next week.
Start now.
Take Friday off and then see what happens. And what happens is you manage to fit whatever needs to get done into those 4 days.
Exactly.
Because you want that 5th day off, that Friday off.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is put the little things in immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect segue to, let's pivot into a business mode now. So we talked about your pivots, etc. When you're working with women, when they present to you something that they want to change, and that's actually a perfect example, but I just want to talk in general. What are the things that you see that women tell themselves is the reason why they can't have what they really want?
Oh, the list is long.
I know it is. Top 3.
It is. Why they can't have what they want? They don't know what it is. It's the hardest question and the hardest answer to get out of any woman is, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want in your business? What do you want in your life? They don't know the answer. And that's not a mean thing to say, they don't know the answer. It is hard for us to express what we want, because if we do that, we might have to take an action towards it.
And also, there's so much conditioning around what a good woman is, right? So a woman cannot, there's so much about what our body should look like, whether we should have wrinkles, whether blah, blah, blah. Like, from the very, very foundation of what we're taught is the correct way to be a woman. There's so many levels of expectation and masks and conditioning on top of that of course we don't know who the flipping hell we are and what we want.
So I would definitely say the first question is always, what do you want to create? The other thing that we put in our way is, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Okay. So then procrastination kicks in. So then we become these queens of procrastination and then we always feel like we're on the back foot. We always feel like we're not getting done what we want to get done, whether that's personally or professionally. that's a horrible feeling in your tum-tum. So do something, take some form of action towards it. And then it's that, I don't know how to describe it. It's that feeling of we don't have enough time.
Yeah.
And that feeling is based on, a lot of the time, I don't have enough time because I've got the kids to look after, I've got my partner to look after, I've got the house to look after, I've got the business to look after. I have to fit myself into that somewhere, sometimes, not very much. All those things come before the time that you actually want to spend on the things that you want to get done. And that's why we don't ask the question of what do you want?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you've got that answer to what do you want, then the clear path that you need, the clarity that you need to be productive towards it, all of a sudden the steps start appearing. Yes. And that's scary for some people when they think they don't have the time.
Absolutely. It's such a story.
So yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Job done. Mic drop. We're done. Yeah, I think for me, when I see the same patterns, because it's the same with women that I work with, it's the I don't have time, that's not okay, it's not possible for me, I'm not like XYZ, etc. They're all just your fear brain trying to keep you safe. Because as you say, if you know what you want, then that becomes a very clear filter of is what I am doing today stepping me more towards that or further away. And when you have that clarity, it becomes really freaking scary, because all of a sudden we realize that we actually have to build self-trust, and we also have to take responsibility for creating our own life. Yeah. And that is a really scary place to be. Also amazing and thrilling. And, if you can harness it and step into it, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, and we're wonderful beings of, when we feel like that, it's about me.
Yeah.
What we are brilliant at is, how can I help and serve all of you rather than me? And that's what happened actually when Jody died and I stood in front of this workshop presenting, is that I was talking about me.
Yeah.
And that was one of the hardest things that I've had to learn through having my own business.
Yeah.
Is that's a completely different way of being in the world. As much as people think everything's all about me, which of course it is. It is that feeling of, I'm now saying what I want, I'm saying what I'm good at, I'm saying what I need. And that is uncomfortable.
Very much so. But, God, if you go back to conditioning, like I was reading something the other day where there was a lady who had a little girl who liked to wear things that some people would assume are boyish clothes. And her observations were, if the person thinks they look like a boy, it's like, wow, you run really fast. How strong are you? Look at you go. Da, da, da. So all this positive affirmation. And the girl version, if she appeared to be more, depending on who they came across and depending on how she was dressed, it was all about, oh, don't you look beautiful? Aren't you pretty? What are you doing with mummy today? Very different expectations of that, gender. And I know there's so many conversations which are absolutely brilliant going on about gender and preconceived notions, and but I think for girls particularly, it's very, very common for us to grow up with people pleasing expectations. It's like, you need to be quiet, you need to be pretty, you need to not run around like a crazy thing. And I really hope that we are making big changes in the generations around now, and I do believe that that's the case. But I certainly know for our generations, I definitely got that message of, and I actually got the message that my job was to take care of other people's feelings. So of course you're disconnected from what you want in life, because I grew up with a filter which was, your job is not to take care of yourself, your job is to take care of other people. So
it's my responsibility.
So yeah, absolutely.
It's my responsibility how you feel. That's exactly what I grew up thinking. And that's when you realize that and you can see it with hindsight, it's a hard thing to change, because that sense of responsibility doesn't go away overnight. It's not pointed out in counseling. You go, oh, okay, I'll change that. Yeah. That is ingrained. Ingrained.
Well, we could also say inground. Grounding.
It's a piece of your puzzle that taking it out without manipulating it in some way so that it fits back in a different way is very unsettling.
Yeah. It's actually really discombobulating. I've had some interesting things happen in my life where there's been particular helpers, healers, coaches, whoever that I've been working with, and also doing my own work around things where, I'm breaking some of the ties that are bound around that codependency, trauma bonding, etc. And I'm by no means an expert in trauma, so I wouldn't say that I'm trauma informed specifically in terms of the coaching that I do. I'm talking from my personal experience. When you break those patterns with help from someone who knows what they're doing, it is very discombobulating, because you expect to have the feelings rise of like, I have to go and do that. I must take care of that person. It's my job to do X, Y, Z. And it's actually it's discombobulating, but it's actually exactly where the title for the whole podcast came from, is Wild and Free, because I'm like, that's my deepest desire, to feel completely rewilded back to my natural self, and free to be who I am, not with the layers of I've got to take care of you and I've got to look after you and da, 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 da. And I think there's layers of that form as well when you have your own family. Like, there's so many things that can be said about that, but there's the feeling of discombobulation. And I think when you were talking about not wearing a mask, one of the things that was coming to my mind was freedom. It's like, I'm actually free to be me. Yes, it feels vulnerable. Yes, it feels scary. Yes, it feels exposing. Yes, it feels new. But there's such a depth of freedom in that.
Yeah.
Like, I can put down all of those things.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing?
I think that I had been taught in some way that nobody would love me for me. Yeah. So in dropping all of those masks, I thought that I would lose everything. Not as a conscious thought, but as a subconscious thought. I thought that I would lose my friends, my family. I thought I'd already lost my family because I'd lost my position in the family. It was a crazy unlearning of all these patterns that were in place. And I can talk about it now, about dropping the masks and how that felt and what it looked like and why it happened. But I didn't know what it was in it, and it felt horrible.
Of course.
It was so hard.
Because you've been taught.
I would wake up, I would wake up each day thinking, I'll put my mask on. I can't. I can't. I've got nothing. And it was that sense of freedom to be me. It was that recognition of looking at one person and thinking, oh, they're seeing me. Like, I'm talking and they're listening. They don't hate me. Oh, another person's listening to me. And it was slow and slow and slow of that sense of freedom was fulfilling. Really was.
It's cell deep too, that freedom. That's what. So I get this feeling. I always come back to how things feel in my body, because it's very true for me. So I get the bubbles of joy. So those, the joy things that just pop to the surface, where joy for me is very often very simple things that spark that feeling of joy. And the feeling of freedom just feels like my entire chest is like, I don't know, shining open, and I feel magnetic. And that's kind of the feeling that I was getting when you were using the word cocky. That's, to me, it's just knowing who you are and what you're actually good at. And that's that feeling of magnetism, when things come so easily to you that you're just in that beautiful flow. And I also think that is not possible when you've got a mask on. And I'm like, if you want to have this depth of joy or this desire come to fruition, it takes, we're not by any stretch of the imagination saying, here's the magic wand, go off and because it does, like you said, it's deeply uncomfortable to drop a mask. But it's freaking worth it. And I don't know about you, I intend to live until at least 100, so I've got like 53 more years on the planet. Like, I am not down with putting a mask on for another 53 years, because as you said, it's exhausting.
There's a GIF with Care Bears, and in the GIF, that Care Bears were toys back in the 80s, 90s, I don't know. And they've all got their special healing love powers. And in the GIF, they push their little tummies out and rainbows and unicorns and fairy dust comes out of them. And that's how I feel when I talk to people about things that I love, that I'm passionate about, that I want. And that I feel like I'm pushing out sunshine
Absolutely.
to everybody and going, you can do it too. This is what I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
You can do it too. And that's why when I'm working with clients, that's the joy and the passion and the motivation that they get. And I don't realize that that's a tangible thing that I do.
Yes.
But they go, crikey, I feel I can go and achieve anything now.
Yep.
And to me, that's the biggest compliment, because that's what I want for everyone.
Yes. So good, Trudy. So good. So good. Because I know I've experienced being on the receiving end of you shining your light out. And that's exactly what it feels like. And I think another friend of mine has the same potential of being able to, it's almost like you can shine out your belief so strongly on someone that they absorb the belief, and then they know that they can do something, that they've got that feeling in their bones of being able to. So it's like your light shining like cancels out the doubt and the fear and whatever. And there's no doubt that, then it's about, okay, what are the steps? Like, let's not, we can surf the feeling, which is fine, but now what am I going to do with it? Now what am I, and I know you're all about that. It's like, how do we actually get there?
Yes, I am. Belief and hope are the fundamentals of you having a successful business.
Absolutely.
And the absolute knowing. But the action is what needs to happen.
Correct.
And that if that's the thing that you're getting stuck in, find somebody or find the next step to take that you are taking the tiniest action towards it. I was in a conference once and somebody on the stage said, turn around to the person behind you and tell them the thing that you want the most in the world. What are you going to create in the world? And the lady turned around to me and she said, I'm going to create world peace. And I said, brilliant. What are you going to do today? And she looked so shocked because she just wanted to throw something out there. I'm going to create world peace. Oh, well done. Hurrah. I look forward to doing that. And she said, you know what? You just made me think, and I'm going to start meditation today. I'm going to start a group of people meditating, because if we can do that in our little cell, then it can have the ripple effect. Fantastic. That's the action you need to take.
Yes.
That's what I love.
And it starts with us.
Yeah,
every single time. Oh, so much gold. I knew this was going to be a juicy conversation. Let's wrap up with the single thing that you would love to gift everyone listening who is thinking, no, actually not even thinking, feeling that there is a change required. So they're feeling that sense of discontent, or they're feeling the stuckness, they're feeling the playing small, they're feeling the limits. And they have an inkling. It may not be clear yet what it is that they want to create, but they've got an inkling. What would be your one piece of gold that someone can...
So I tend to restart everything in my business about every 2.5 years. And 2.5 years ago, I sat on a beach and I wrote, I don't do much pen and paper, but I took a pen and paper and I wrote at the top, what do I want to be known for? And then I just started writing, I want to be known for blah, 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 blah. And I wrote out without thinking, so automatic writing, I guess it is. I wrote out what I wanted to be known for. And what I want to be known for is entertaining women in their businesses. Why? Because when you entertain women in their businesses, they feel happy. When they feel happy, they feel confident. When they feel confident, they're able to be visible in their businesses. And that's what's important in business.
Correct.
That's what I want to be known for. If everybody sat down and said, what do I want to be known for? Whether it's you personally or you in business, it changes the perception of what you think you can go and create, be in your life.
It's such a good question. It's such a good question, because it's like the legacy, isn't it? It's like, what do I want to be known for? What do I want to leave the world having been able to ignite or change or in whatever offer?
Influence.
So good. So good.
And it's that feeling, if you ask that now to some people, they would think, crikey, you go down the rabbit hole, crikey, what am I known for now? I'm known for never turning up to coffees because I haven't got time. I'm known for cleaning the house. I'm known for looking after the people around me. What do I want to be known for?
Yeah.
Think about it. It changes what you go and do that day.
So good. I'm going to meditate on that. What is coming to my mind is what I want to be known for is truth talking and having women understand that they can feel the way that they want to feel. They just need to decide, find support. And one of the things that I wanted to reflect back to you in terms of your business community is, I think that the two things, I really strongly feel the two things that women need so much is community and accountability. And you offer both of those things perfectly in your business because you need to swim in the fishbowl that shows your potential, right? And if we are swimming in our lives, looking on social media and the news or whatever, wherever you get your version of reality from, and you're not around people that have created change, created businesses, taken a step, taken a leap of faith, made it, whatever, trusted themselves, you'll forget that it's possible again. That's just the way it is. So find the right place to swim, marinate in the belief and the stories and the invitations that are there from other women stepping up, and just know that it's possible for you, because that's what we're here to do. Everyone needs to step up and take their place in the matrix. Been such a delight. Thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing your business story. We will link, how can people find you? But we will link in the show notes as well. So where's the best place to find you on the interwebs?
www.thedaisychaingroup.com.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for shining on, you crazy Daisy.
Thanks, Kylie.
I will link all of your books in the show notes. Very privileged to be part of the latest one, number 6 in 1 year.
Yeah.
They said I couldn't do it, the silly sausages.
I know. I love it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, darling. Bye-bye. Hello there, beautiful. Kylie here. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode. I have some great news for you. I have a podcast home now. So you'll find everything about our new episodes, key takeaways, and events coming up at www.kyliepatchett.com.au. Patchett is Patchett. Now, one of the things that I'm noticing in all of these stories is that there's common threads about being able to access our deepest truth in times of midlife metamorphosis. These threads include healing stories about self-abandonment, trauma, leaky boundaries, childhood conditioning, learning to dissolve fear and self-doubt and not enoughness, and making other people's needs more important than our own. And finally, learning how to nourish ourselves. So actually understanding how to connect to our heart and understand what it is that we want from our life. How do we want to feel? Who do we want to be in relationship with? Who is better off actually being outside of our boundaries these days? Ultimately, this journey through midlife metamorphosis is all about coming home to our magic and our power and our magnificence and our dreams and desires. And that is why I'm super excited to share with you that we have a 3-day Midlife Magic Masterclass series coming. It's called Coming Home, and it's across the 3 evenings because holy moly, when I started pouring this out of my soul, there was so much that I couldn't possibly cover it in one night. My plan is to have it super, super interactive. So it's not just going to be slides and me talking over them. Boring. It's actually going to be me asking you questions, having you do journal prompts, settling into your heart. We'll be doing some breath and some yoga, and we'll be using those tools to really get clear on what it is that you want, how you're actually getting in your own way, and setting you free to freaking create it. I've got 33 seats that are free. About half of them are taken already, so about 15 more seats to go. And you will find the registration page now at my new online home, which is kyliepatchett.com.au. Love to see you there. It's going to be absolutely groundbreaking, and for usually in a coaching session, even a group coaching session with me for 4.5 hours, that's a lot of cash. And this time I just want to open up our community and interact with you in real time, because your response to this podcast has been breathtaking. And I'm so pleased that these stories are resonating. And I know deep in my soul, the reason they're resonating is because you see yourself in all of these other amazing women. So just know that if they can overcome fear, if they can heal old conditioning, if they can learn to connect with their own needs, you can too. Join me for Coming Home, November 15th to 17th. If you can't make it live, that's totally fine, although it's going to be way better if you can. But if you can't make it live, we will be putting replays out each day, and I can't wait to see you there. So yeah, kyliefetchett.com.au. Yay! Have a great day, everyone. Bye.